2026 is going to be a massive year for the Nintendo Switch 2 with all of the upcoming games and even more games that Nintendo has stashed away in their sleeves just waiting for it to be unraveled. Now, of course, take everything that I'm about to say with a grain of salt. Take that grain of salt and hide it close to your chest. Anyways, let's get straight into it. So now not only are we going to be getting the official games that Nintendo has revealed to us, like the brand new Mario tennis game, Yoshi game, and Pokemon Champions, Pokopia, and so many other things, but Splatoon Raiders could come out in that year as well, or could get pushed out to 2027, but 2026 seems to be the year for that game. Now, not only is it the 30th anniversary of Pokemon and the 40th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda, but we are going to be getting so many other things, like The Legend of Zelda. Now, there are four main things that we could see for the Legend of Zelda series. Now, of course, all these things might not happen all at once, but things look to be into play. Now, first off, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake. Now, this would be a ground-up remake instead of the remaster that we got for the 3DS version, so that would be very, very interesting, because Nintendo have filed some patents for a brand new game, which looks to be the Legend of Zelda series. Now, although which Legend of Zelda series, it looks like it could be Ocarina of Time, but of course it could be other Legend of Zelda game like this one as well. The Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds. Now, that game is famously known for playing with paintings, because one of the big gimmicks of that game was capturing people from paintings. So this game could be getting a remaster or a remake or just straight up a port from the 3DS, which would honestly be great to play on a television. Now, one game that I've been saying for a long time we are probably going to be seeing in 2026 because it makes the most sense is The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Now, hear me out. This game came out in 2006. Now, what does that have to do with anything? Just think about it. 2006, and then in 2016, we did get an HD version for the Wii U. And going another 10 years, that would lead up to 2026 for another 4K version of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. It would just make a lot of sense. We went from SD to HD, now to 4K. Which would really mind boggle anyone. So anyways, that would be really interesting. One game that I thought would be also an interesting one, I saw some leaks and rumors that point towards the Legend of Zelda Oracle games getting a remaster, or some sort of remake that would blend them all together. So instead of buying both games, you would get one game that would be just like the Legend of Zelda Oracle of both ages and seasons together, which would be really, really interesting. So overall, keep that in mind. And of course, The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker HD or 4K. Now, this has been rumored for the longest time, so chances are we're not necessarily going to be getting it because it is on the GameCube application and Nintendo doesn't really like to re-release games for some reason, so overall, keep that in mind. But now for Pokemon. Well, we are going to be getting a ton of different Pokemon games, of course, Pokemon Pokopia and Pokemon Champions. But from leaks, we are going to be getting Pokemon Winds and Waves. Near November of 2026, Pokemon Winds and Waves is going to shine to the world, because by that point, it's been 4 years since the last mainline Pokemon game, which it overall makes a lot of sense to be releasing these games on the 30th anniversary of Pokemon, which is honestly really, really awesome. So at the end of the day, Pokemon Legend of Zelda, we are going to be seeing some awesome games. Now, one thing that has been rumored for a while now is a remaster or a remake of Pokemon Generation 5. May that include Black and White or just Black and White 2 together at some point, Black and White 3, who knows, that would be releasing, if it does, earlier in the year, which would make a lot of sense. Then later in the year, we would be seeing, of course, Pokemon Winds and Waves. So, of course, keep that in mind. Now we got the new games that aren't necessarily part of an anniversary, Luigi's Mansion 4. Now, this would honestly make a lot of sense, because think about it, they could release this game on Halloween. The first and the third game was essentially released on Halloween, like the Nintendo Switch version, which honestly made the most sense for them, and seeing a brand new Luigi's Mansion game, Luigi's Mansion 4 on Nintendo Switch 2 would make so much sense because it's been like 6 years or 7 years by that point since the last Luigi's Mansion game, Luigi's Mansion 3 in 2019, so I think it's about time to see Luigi's Mansion 4. Now, one other game that has a potential of releasing is maybe a brand new Mario game. Now, probably not a 3D Mario game. Of course, there's always a chance after the movie to see some sort of reveal, but we're probably not going to be seeing the next 3D Mario game. But, however, we could be seeing a remaster or some sort of remake for an older 3D Mario game. If you look at the patent, maybe we're completely wrong. Maybe it's not the Legend of Zelda. Maybe it's for Mario. Maybe it's Mario 64 for some reason. But overall, that'd be very interesting. But one game that I think comes to mind is maybe Super Mario 3D Land. That makes a lot of sense because we aren't missing a lot of Mario games. We're only missing 3D Land unless you count the DS game, but that still is we're only missing 3D Land because we already have Mario 64 in some way. So it makes a lot of sense to seeing that game when you look at the grand scheme of things. Now, one other game that I wanted to mention is Kirby. Now, of course, next year, or the year after 2026, 2027 is going to be the 35th anniversary of Kirby, which probably could bring a lot of these things, but I just wanted to mention it. Kirby Planet Robobot and maybe Triple Deluxe could be getting a triple or a double pack. I was going to say triple pack, but hey, all of these games are kind of connected in some way. These could be getting a double pack, which would honestly make a lot of sense when you look in the grand scheme of things, because we haven't really seen a Kirby remaster in a while, I would say. Now, we did recently, 2023 or 2022, we did get Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe, but hey, bear that in mind with me when we say we need to get these two, honestly, the greatest Kirby games of all time. Could we be getting a reveal for a brand new Kirby game? Well, there's always a possibility of seeing reveals and not release date because, hey, we get reveals pretty much all the time for different things. May that be smaller games or the large big titles that you're going to really hype up from years and years and years to come. But now, all of the more first-party Nintendo games out of the way, we gotta talk about the third-party stuff. Now, big chances that we are going to be seeing Forza Horizon because Nintendo or Xbox does say that they want to work with Nintendo more and more, so that would make a lot of sense to be seeing some sort of Xbox games, like maybe Sea of Thieves, Forza Horizon, Halo. We are set to get a bunch of different games like that for the Xbox, so hey, that makes some, that would be awesome to see on Nintendo Switch as a whole. And now moving on to the Nintendo GameCube application, or the applications as a whole. Now, the Nintendo GameCube is definitely a very interesting one. We are getting some games, but we aren't getting the most out of our Nintendo GameCube subscription service. Now, by now, I would think at least we would have seen 10 different games for the GameCube application as a whole. And keep that in mind, 3 of them were launched with the Nintendo Switch 2 as a whole. So, where did all the other games go, like Mario Kart Double Dash, Super Smash Bros. Melee, and etc.? I think in 2026, there is a possibility of seeing Super Smash Bros. Melee. Because think about it, if we aren't going to be seeing a new Super Smash Bros. Game, well, Super Smash Bros. Melee would be the next best thing. Because there you go, you're going to relive your experience of playing the Melee on the GameCube as a whole. So overall, that would be very, very interesting and exciting. And one game is Mario Kart Double Dash if we don't receive any DLC for Mario Kart World. But more on that later. Now, honestly, there's a lot of games here that definitely have a possibility of coming. Like Mario Party, that would be great, and so many other things. Who knows what Nintendo is going to do with this, because, again, back in the original Direct where they revealed the Nintendo Switch, there was games that were listed off for the Nintendo GameCube. But Nintendo has started releasing games that aren't even part of that list, like WarioWare. So overall, it's very, very interesting why Nintendo is going down this route. DLCs that we could be seeing for Nintendo games as a whole is, of course, the big one itself, Mario Kart World. Now, Now, Mario Kart World had a pretty rocky situation when it first launched, but now is starting to stable out with Nintendo releasing updates. And honestly, this is a really great thing because you just want to keep seeing more and more updates to make the game the best it could possibly be. Because who doesn't want an awesome epic game? So, may this be a free update or a paid DLC, but hey, it would be a very interesting time. Now, one game that I wanted for so many years, not less about leaks and rumors, but more about what I want, is the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom DLC. Now, of course, I've always wanted this because I think that just adding a Trial of the Sword and also a Heroes mode or a Master mode inside of the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom would be the greatest thing. Just add something like he did in Breath of the Wild and call it the end of the day. Because honestly, I thought the trials that were sort of like Trial of the Sword and Tears of the Kingdom were the greatest thing ever. They were just so much fun. So hey, give us a $10 DLC, I would really appreciate it to see something like that. And thank you so much, Nintendo, for listening to the community. Overall, it's just a very interesting and exciting time. But if we were gonna say Nintendo Switch 2 editions, aren't those technically DLCs? Well, probably technically DLCs, so I don't necessarily know what kind of things we could possibly be getting. Maybe a Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Super Smash Bros, because if we don't get a Super Smash Bros game, playing that game at 4K 60 would be really awesome. But at the end of the day, this is all leaks, rumors, information. Nintendo hasn't confirmed it, so it could happen, and it could not happen. So what do you think about all this? Do you think there's one game that you really want? And maybe I didn't name off any games that you really want, or if there's been a lot of leaks recently about these games. So let me know in the comment section down below. And thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day. And with that being said, see you in the next one. Consider hit the like button, I would really appreciate it. And the subscribe button, I do a bunch of different Nintendo content on this channel.